Hi there, my name is Katie Jerauld, and the title of my presentation is Eco-Anxiety: How Do We Cope with Environmental Crises? As the effects of climate change continue to intensify, we can expect to see a rise in mental health concerns in response. When you hear about things like the rising temperatures and increase in the number of wildfires and other extreme climate events, it's likely that you feel scared, stressed, or overwhelmed. These feelings are all a part of eco-anxiety, which can be defined as considerable distress caused by a significant degree of ecological crisis. In one US study, it was even found that 82% of 10 to 12-year-olds have felt fear, anger, or sadness about climate change. This large percentage indicates a need for further support for students, and to combat climate change, we need to find further solutions to ease these students' eco-anxiety so that they can continue learning and participating in climate action. That is why I asked the research question, what approaches in K through 12 environmental education are useful in alleviating eco-anxiety during the climate crisis? I interned with the Friends of the Conservatory, also referred to as the FOC, and they're a local nonprofit whose goal is to encourage preservation, participation, and education at Volunteer Park Conservatory on Capitol Hill. During my internship, I got to work with two other Capstone students, and together we researched environmental programs and interviewed two environmental professionals who ran programs similar to what the conservatory wanted to do. And then I interviewed a climate psychology educator. We also sent out surveys to some local Seattle area elementary school teachers to learn more about their preferences on environmental curriculum in the area. Our deliverables included quite a few things, including a curriculum outline, a presentation on climate and biodiversity, a document outlining the resources that we found from our research, and then some activity sheets that could be used in future field trip programs. Once done with my internship, I utilized the knowledge that I had gained to conduct a literature review on the connection between environmental education and eco-anxiety. From my research, I found three main tools that should be used in environmental education to alleviate eco-anxieties. The first method was to have adults act as role models to students, especially teachers. And children often look towards adults to teach them how to respond to crises. So parents, teachers, and adults should first off demonstrate what an effective emotional response looks like. They should encourage dialogue about climate change, and they should model sustainable change and actions. The second tool that I found to be useful was to teach students emotional resilience. Emotional resilience is one's ability to adapt to stressful situations, and it can be learned by building one's awareness through mindfulness and by naming one's emotions. The third and final tool that I found useful was practicing forms of ecotherapy. This can include anything from outdoor education to structured and unstructured playtime outside. It can also just be as easy as providing students with access to green views. Since humans have become so disconnected from nature, it's important that we find ways to overcome this growing distance starting at a young age. Leslie Davenport, the climate psychology educator I interviewed, stated that the more we can help kids fall in love with the world, that's just going to grow them into conservationists, because we tend to protect and care for what we love. And that's the goal of environmental education. It's to get children to love nature so that they want to participate in this much needed climate action. Environmental education is a powerful tool that has been shown to reduce anxiety, depression, and PTSD. It improves focus in students with ADHD, and it even improves children's overall development and their sense of self-worth and self-esteem. So moving forwards, it's critical that we prioritize methods such as the three that we have discussed so that children can achieve these needed benefits. Also, environmental education should focus more on finding age-appropriate resources for students to learn effectively from. This could look like the curriculum that I made for the FOC, which was specifically made for 3rd through 5th graders, or it could look like the children's books that Leslie Davenport writes. Overall, these tools have the power to reduce stress that young students experience when learning about the scary reality of climate change. And if we don't find and implement more methods like these that we have discussed soon, students will undoubtedly begin to experience burnout, and they won't be able to participate in this necessary climate action to turn this crisis around. Thank you all for listening, and I'd like to take a moment to thank the people that supported me throughout this project. First off, thank you to my wonderful faculty advisor, Alexa Schreier, who supported me during these quarters. Also, thank you to my FOC supervisor, Lauren Moore, who truly helped start and develop this project with my group. And finally, I'd like to thank my friends and family for supporting me throughout my college education. If you have any questions, please feel free to email me at geraldk@uw.edu. And once again, thank you so much for listening to my presentation.